Have to talk about the news that broke forth about an hour thereabout, and that's about Graham Potter, the coach of Brighton Hove Albion, who has now agreed in a deal in principle with Chelsea Football Club to become their new manager. And this is coming on the back of Thomas Tuchel losing his job just yesterday. It will be intriguing to see how this pans out, because Brighton Hove Albion definitely isn't Chelsea when it comes to pedigree and expectations. I'm sure the fans would have so much in terms of expectations, and Graham would be thrown right into the middle of the fire if he takes up the job fully. We heard that there was a meeting yesterday, Wednesday, with Todd Bowley meeting with Graham Potter to discuss this, and there was also another meeting earlier today. That's Thursday. So it's been agreed in principle. What's left is just the signed to sign the documents, rather, as well as the backroom staff. That's what the discussions are about now, and that's what the news is saying. Legal details as well as the backroom staff. That's the only thing delaying the announcement of Graham Potter right there on your screen as the new manager of Chelsea Football Club. No doubt Brighton Hove Albion have improved under Graham Potter, and the 47-year-old have made them a very difficult team to play against and beat, especially at the Annex Stadium. But it's a different kettle of fish when you take up a club as big as Chelsea with so much expectations, managing egos of big players and trying to get the best of them. It will be intriguing to see how this pans out. We've seen some coaches try it and fail, but we've also seen others successful at it, when it comes to being thrown to the limelight of a big club, like Pep Guardiola excelling at Barcelona without having, a top coaching experience before that job. Well, it will be interesting to see how this pans out, but let's move away from there now and delve into UEFA Champions League due to time constraints. We had Napoli against Liverpool yesterday, yes, and it was a humiliating defeat for Liverpool as Napoli were able to get the better of them. 4-1 that ended. Even Victor Osimhen of Nigerian origin had to lose, a penalty. It could have been worse, could have been 7-1. It was just a disastrous performance from Jurgen Klopp's men, and at the end of the day, the German coach said they probably need to reinvent themselves. And I think it's about time. You want to say, yes, they have injury woes they're battling with, especially in the middle of the park. They're missing Sadio Mane. Salah is out of form. But for all of those excuses, they probably need to have a plan B, C, D if possible, because right about now they are seemingly predictable and teams are able to come at them. But it was quite an impressive performance from Napoli, who have also started the Italian Serie A season on a flying note. Just about 4 hours ago, you had Carlos Alcaraz, that's the Spanish teenager, book his place into the semifinals, his first semifinal at any point in a slam event, and that was courtesy of an epic win over 11th seed Yannick Sinner. That match was quite intriguing as you had Carlos Alcaraz trailing by 2-1 before digging deep to win the next 2 sets and book a place in the semi-final. More importantly, keeping his hopes of a world #1 finish, at stake. So the scoreline right there in terms of sets won by both players, you had 6-3, 6-7, 7-9, 6-7, love 7, 7-5, 6-3 as Alcaraz was able to book his place in the semi-finals. The young star showing once again that is the future of tennis, and if that is an indication of what's to come in the future, then it's safe to say that the future of tennis is safe beyond the big four of Roger Federer, Andy Murray, Rafael Nadal, as well as Novak Djokovic. But it's Alcaraz who keeps hope alive when it comes to world #1 ranking. He, alongside Casper Ruud, have the chance of being world #1. Should Alcaraz make the final and Ruud gets knocked out in the semi-final, Alcaraz will be the new world #1. But if both players make it to the final, then it's a straight battle. Whoever wins the final between Carlos Alcaraz and Casper Ruud will be the new world #1 as well as the champion of the US Open. But it was quite an intriguing battle there from the Spanish teenager. A match that is definitely for the record books. Let's move away from that quickly, talking about the US Open as well. You had American homeboy Francis Tiafoe also booking his place in the semi-final, and he made his first move into the semi-final of a slam, courtesy of a straight sets victory over Andrew Rublev, although it was quite a difficult match as the first 2 sets went into tiebreak. 7-6, 7-3, 7-6, 7 love before Rublev surrendered a break to lose the third set by 6 games to 4. So it's Francis Tiafoe also booking his place in the semi-final. And for Tiafoe, it's definitely a first when it comes to slam semi-finals. He will be taking on Carlos Alcaraz. That's a match that we should watch out for. It's going to be intriguing for Andrew Rublev. The Russian fared well, played well, just couldn't stand, the ground strokes of Tiafoe, who has been playing out of his skin over the last 1.5 weeks. It will be intriguing to see what the future holds for him. But he's into his first slam semi-final, and he will be taking on Carlos Alcaraz. Perhaps he is the spanner in the wheel of Alcaraz hitting the final and possibly becoming world #1. We will see how that pans out in the semi-final. Well, still talking about the men's game, but this time around off court, we have to talk about Nick Kyrgios. Yes, the Australian Maverick was dumped out in the quarterfinals, losing to Karen Khachanov. But the latest about that is that for Nick Kyrgios, he has been fined a total of $32,500 for various misconducts during the US Open. Now, we'll have to talk about the fines, really. He was fined $14,000 for his conduct during his quarterfinal loss to Karen Khachanov, where he smashed 2 rackets and threw a drinks bottle to the ground. As a result of all of that, you can see it on your screen, he got fined $14,000 for that. But there were other fines for other conducts like spitting, uttering profanities, swearing, among others. So the combined fine is $32,500. Again, it's the Australian Maverick Kyrgios, who is known to get into the wrong books of the officials. But considering he had a very good tournament, this fine would be a chicken change, so to speak, for him. He won a total amount of $473,200 as prize money from the US Open, and that's because he got to the quarterfinals of the singles and also played in the doubles with his very good friend Thanasi Kokkinakis. So $473,200 won by Nick Kyrgios, and the fine is just $32,500. He's had a decent, fall and summer. Hopefully he rounds up the season in style in terms of, focusing on tennis, especially when on court. I think he's getting more mature with time, and we should see the best of him, not just in terms of his tennis qualities, but also his conduct, the professional conduct, as it were. Well, in the women's game, talking about the US Open, you had world #1 Iga Swiatek as well booking a place in the semi-final, and that was a battle against American girl Jessica Pegula, winning that in 3 sets to book a place in her first US Open semi-final. And the world #1 is on track to win the 7th title as well as a 2nd Grand Slam of the season. It's all about the legend Sue Bird at this point in time. Yes, she's finally called it a day on her career after 20 years in the sport, which saw her win 4 WNBA titles. She bowed out at the wee hours of today, having failed to lead the Seattle Storms to the WNBA finals, and that's as a result of the loss they incurred in the playoff semifinal against the Aces. So for Seattle Storms, it's definitely a loss of a legend who is seemingly irreplaceable in the franchise's history. For Sue Bird, at 41 years old, she spent her entire career with the Storms, won 4 WNBA titles, as I said earlier, and she just couldn't get the Storms past the Las Vegas Aces, who are the defending champ, the Las Vegas Aces rather, who won by 97 to 92 points in the playoff semifinal. For Sue Bird, she's a 13-time All-Star. She's also the league's all-time assist leader with over 3,000 times. She scored 8 points and 8 assists in that game, which was the final appearance. For the Las Vegas Aces, they are into the finals, and they will take on either the Chicago Sky, who are the defending champions, or they will take on the Connecticut Suns. It will be intriguing, whatever matchup that makes up for the WNBA finals. Sue Bird's record in the game is definitely astonishing. 5 Olympic gold medals for the United States from 2004 to 2008, 2012, 2016, and 2020. It was a clean sweep of Olympic gold medals for Sue Bird and the United States women's basketball team. She has over 5,000 points as well in the WNBA, being the first player to achieve that. The records are definitely there. Arguably the greatest woman to ever play basketball in the history of American basketball. Well, let's move away from there. Still talking basketball, the Eurobasket is on. That's the championship, about European teams, and your NBA stars are representing their countries at the tournament itself. It's all about Luka Doncic, who is part of the defending champions crew. Talking about Slovenia, the Slovenians were in action against France, and that was a keenly contested game, which saw Luka Doncic score 47 points, a record 47 points, it must be said, as the Slovenians won over their French counterparts, 88 to 82 points. For Luka Doncic, he scored 47 points, and that's the most scored by a player, or rather the second most scored by a player in the history of the championship, just behind Eddie Terese's 63 points for Belgium against Albania way back as in 1957. So, and the Dallas Mavericks superstar right there, showing once again that he's one of the top players when it comes to basketball, not just in the NBA or in the European Championships, but all over the world. And it was quite an impressive display over the likes of Rudy Gobert, who started for France. It was all about Doncic getting the better of Gobert, his fellow NBA, superstar. But the Slovenians are the champions, the defending champions. They'll be looking to make it back-to-back titles, and that will depend on Luka Doncic's form and fitness, as well as Goran Dragic, in ensuring that they make it back-to-back. But the Slovenians are looking good, and right about now, they are the team to beat, if you want to call it that. You also had Giannis Antetokounmpo, pouring in 41 points for Greece about 2 days ago. So the superstars are definitely showing up when it comes to the European Championships. Well, let's move away from there, wrapping up discussions on other sports just before we focus on tennis. Let's talk about heavyweight boxing, and it's all about Anthony Joshua as well as Tyson Fury. Remember, Tyson Fury reneged on his decision to quit or retire from boxing when he saw Usyk defeats Joshua for the second time. And just a few days ago, he called out Joshua for a match which he has billed as the Battle of Britain. Now, the latest about that is that Anthony Joshua has accepted Tyson Fury's offer to fight in December, and this is according to Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Earn, who is right there on your screen with Anthony Joshua. So the fight, the purse would be 40-60, 40 to Anthony Joshua because he is the challenger, while it's going to be 60% of the purse price to Tyson Fury, who owns the WBC belt. But Tyson Fury will be fighting first before he fights Joshua in December. Now, Tyson Fury's camp have alleged that they have 2 dates penned down. They have November 26th penned down for Wembley, and they also have December 17th at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales, for the fights to take place. Joshua has said he will be ready for December, so the likelihood is that the fight will take place on the 17th of December at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff. Official letters and documents have been sent, and we hear that the offer was sent on Tuesday, with Joshua's camp accepting yesterday, Wednesday. So it's all about signing the dotted lines at this point in time, and that heavyweight clash will definitely be one to look out for. Joshua coming back, from 2 successive defeats to Usyk, he would seek to redeem himself against Tyson Fury, which is definitely a tall order.